Welcome to DNA. If you're new here, this channel isn't about telling you what to think. It's about slowing things down and explaining the patterns behind the things you already notice. So grab a coffee and let's talk about something familiar. A big lot gets sold. A big lot gets sold. You notice it because it's not small. 20 acres, maybe more. The sold sign just went up. Then the orange snow fencing. Then the land gets cleared. And you think, okay, something's coming. What could it be? It seems pretty big to be a restaurant. Maybe a little too small to be a strip mall. Start thinking. Guessing. I don't know. Could it be a Home Depot? Maybe. Maybe a Costco. Possibly. How about a Walmart? Yeah, it's likely. Who really knows? Nobody knows yet. So you stand there and you're looking at it. It's an empty lot and you're watching it like it's some movie trailer. It's going to light itself up. What's it going to be? Let's take a moment. Let's sip on that. And then the sign goes up. And what do you know? It is a Walmart. For most customers, the reaction is pretty simple. Okay, Walmart's coming in. Cool. But for some, like small business owners nearby, that sign hits very differently. And I mean very differently. That's when they start to think, uh-oh, Walmart's coming. This is going to have an impact on my business. But I've been here for 20 years. What am I going to do now? Do I have to rethink my entire business model? Well, for some, this tremor is real. And it does come with some panic. It also comes with experience. People have seen this before. Walmart's not new. They watch prices shift, usually get lowered. They watch buying habits change in droves. And they've watched some businesses struggle and some not able to compete, and they end up going under. So the concern isn't imaginary, but we need to understand why this happens. In order to understand why it happens, you actually have to understand how Walmart works. And it is not complicated. It's actually structural. Walmart doesn't win by making a lot of money on one singular item. It wins by making a little money on every item at massive scale. Walmart operates on extremely thin lines, some of the thinnest in the industry. Nobody competes on their margins. And that only works because of business volume. Walmart buys in massive quantities. It sources directly from the manufacturer. It also controls logistics very tightly, and it moves product constantly. Product does not sit around at Walmart. It flows. It flows from the manufacturers into the distribution centers, into the Walmart supercenters, into the stores, and into your house, and into the customer. It's a streamlined process. And when costs are lower at every step, prices on the shelf can be lower too. That's not a tactic aimed at small business. That's just math. And from a public point of view, that matters. Lower prices on groceries, clothing, and household everyday items help a lot of people manage their budgets month to month, daily and weekly. These are not luxury purchases. They are purchases done frequently. So Walmart fills a real need. But here's where the pressure shows. And here's where the pressure shows up. If you're a small business selling similar items, everyday goods, and you don't have a Walmart scale, your margins are tighter. You have less room to adjust. And when customers start comparing prices, that squeeze becomes extremely real. And that's why some small business owners at this point start to worry. And yes, some eventually, unfortunately, close. Not because Walmart wants them gone, but because the economics have changed. What often gets missed is that This isn't the end of small business. It's a sorting process. Walmart is very good at selling standardized high volume products at a cheap cost. It's not good at everything. It doesn't specialize deeply. Walmart doesn't personalize most of its items. Walmart doesn't replace expertise or service with better expertise or service. And that's where many small businesses still have the advantage and still exist and often do well by that. Not by trying to beat Walmart at its own game. They won't. They can't. But by playing a different one that serves the public equally. Stuff like specialty products, local services, hands-on knowledge, and relationships that have been built over years. The place where you don't want the cheapest option, you want the right one. Now, this is where the public fits in. We actually need both. We need Walmart for scale. We need Walmart for access. But we also need small businesses alongside of them for character, for services, and specialization in the areas that Walmart doesn't do well. Without big stores, we don't get the scale that keeps everyday life affordable. Without small ones, we lose the texture of the places we live. Do your part. Shop small when you can. Use local services when they fit. Don't do it out of guilt. And certainly don't do it out of obligation. Let's just do this because we want all businesses to survive. And we want the economy to serve everybody equally. Because both systems only work if both exist. And this isn't here to tell small businesses what to do either. That's not my role. This is for the public. So people understand why the worry exists, not just that it does exist. And when a Walmart moves in, the environment changes. Prices often shift. Habits shift. Expectations shift. And some businesses that were already stretched feel that immediately. Others, the ones that know exactly who they serve and what they offer, often adjust and keep going and flourish in these environments. So when you see that big lot get sold and the sign finally goes up, it's okay to acknowledge the tremor. It's real, but it's also not the end of the story. A large, efficient system has entered a market where the math actually works. It will do what it does very well and what it's done many times before, and everything else will adjust around it, as it often does. From a customer's point of view, it usually becomes a balance anyways, and a benefit. You go to Walmart for certain things. You go to smaller businesses for others. Sometimes, price. Sometimes it's service. Sometimes it's just plain old convenience. And sometimes it's familiarity. We don't do this out of guilt. Not out of obligation. It's just because different businesses solve different problems. Once you understand that, then what you're seeing makes a lot more sense and a lot less noise. That's the angle. I want to thank you for taking your time and having a coffee with me. I appreciate it. We're going to look at something else. Next episode, we're staying inside the store and talking about something everyone has an opinion on. Self-checkouts. Yes, self-checkouts. Join me. Sunday, 10 a.m. Until then, cheers.